Big Fog, back again.
I'm just going to react to the news here. I've no idea when I'm going to get this uploaded. This is simply a voice recording. I will get it later on onto something, alright? But there's been more details emerging about Willie Collum as he's branded the League Cup final penalty call as unacceptable and really, really poor. And he says that Rangers should have been awarded a penalty in their League Cup final against Celtic. Now, I'm seeing, if you go on Twitter, you're literally seeing that the audio has been released. It appears, right, that someone has actually said it's a penalty. They said it's more outside, and then it goes, suddenly they stop talking, and there's no further review. And then it goes, where exactly in the box? So, to me, they thought this might have been out, and then it's clearly went in, and as we know by the rules, the shirt pull has followed into the box, and it's like, it just has to be a penalty, man. No, obviously, I'm actually just sick of talking about it, man. I am. It's an absolute joke of a decision, right? It's an absolute disgrace of a decision, but it's tiresome me coming on here talking about it. Because see, at the end of the day, man, I can speak till I'm blue in the face about this, but I'm not going to speak about sour grapes, right? I'm not. I mean, nothing I say, nothing Willie Collum comes out and says, nothing what anyone comes out and says, right, is going to change the outcome of this League Cup final. No one is really going to suffer any repercussions because of this, and it's not like every Celtic fan that thinks this ain't a penalty is going to suddenly do a 180 and believe it was a penalty, right? Because they're not. We're not going to think it. It's factual information. It's a penalty. You listen to the VAR audio, it sounds like they've literally just screwed Rangers. That's what it sounds like, all right? And it's not the only time we've heard the dodgy VAR audio in Scotland, and you know what? It's an absolute joke. We won't be the only team that gets screwed by this, and what you need to do, they need to come down hard on these guys that were on far. It's not John Beaton's fault, honestly. He's got his hands tied behind his back. He's seen it in live time. He hasn't even went over to the monitor because he shouldn't have to go over to the monitor. But it's like he's seen it once. John Beaton seen it once. All right. There's honestly not much he can do about it. I just do not understand what John Beaton can do about it. So I'm going to avoid blaming John Beaton. It's the guys on the far, man. It's the guys on the far at the end of the day that have just absolutely not made the correct decision here. And it's crazy. It is honestly crazy that it didn't get given. But as I say, it's like, what can you really do about it going forward? You know what I mean? Like, these guys talk, they're going to get sacked, but the reality is they're probably just not penciled in this weekend for a job. You know what I mean? And Willie Collum can go out and say sorry, but there needs to be accountability. And we know the SFA, there's no accountability, man. You've seen the pyro fed earlier if you watch Fog Football. It's like the SFA just try and pass off the blame to anybody. Right? And you know what would actually help, though? If there was actually, like, every pundit in Scottish football that was actually saying something, not the likes of Chris Sutton, who just will whip out morale victory here, morale victory there. You know what I mean? Like, ripping the piss out of Rangers fan. As much as Sutton hates Rangers, right? And as much as, all of us here on this channel hate Celtic, well, the Rangers portion, it's like, you've just got to call out the incompetency of the SFA. Sutton did it last March in that Celtic Hearts game where there was awful decisions all around for both teams. So it's like, why can't it be called out here? It's just it's a jokey decision. So we'll dive into what Willie Collum is saying. So, I mean, to name and shame, VAR Alan Muir and assistant Frank Connor, two great guys, isn't it? So this is what Collum told the SFA's VAR review show. The holding of Tierney's shirt begins outside the penalty area, but it continues then into on the line and arguably beyond the line and fully into the penalty area. Regardless of the fact it's on the line, this should be considered as a penalty kick. The referee is awarded a free kick on the field because he sees the pulling. He's correctly judged the incident in terms of the foul play, but then the VAR team need to go and check. They need to decide whether the incident is inside or outside, and ultimately they failed to come to the correct conclusion, which is this should have gone to a factual overturn. No need for the referee to go to the monitor. A factual overturn for a penalty to be awarded. So There you go, right? The head of the SFA, refereeing committee, whatever you want to call it, is saying there's not even any need for a monitor. So see any comments about, well, it started before. This guy, Willie Collum's got no love for Rangers, right? Absolutely no love. See the fact that he has to come out and said this, that's hard for him to come out and say, even though, his team won at the end of the day. But yeah, the fact it's factual, guys. It is he points out that the incident is damaging for the credibility of Scottish football, and I absolutely agree. Where do we go from here? I don't know. Boyd points out the fact that it's not a difficult decision to make, and it absolutely isn't. It doesn't. It's just a difficult decision to make, man. Couldn't get out there. It's an unacceptable decision, as New Rangers CEO Patrick Stewart has turned around and said. So, what do you guys think? What is the future going to hold with the SFA? It should have been awarded, but here, should have been, could have been. Doesn't change what happened, and these referees will continue to referee. They should be sacked. Simple as that. Simple as that. I don't need to go 20 years in the past to look at an offside goal, right? I've got plenty of evidence in the committee.